Welcome to our channel once again. This is the second part of our video on electric vehicles. The first video was on the pros and cons of EVs, electric vehicles, but this video is about understanding the charging of electric vehicles. As we understand, from 2040, Transport for London have declared that in the UK, there will be no selling of normal petrol and diesel cars, that all the fleets are going to go full electric. And as it currently stands, from 2025, all the vehicles coming onto the private hire industry, i.e., doing PHV vehicle registration, have to be full electric. And this is from the Mayor of London. And this is the reason why this video is being made, because many a times we talk about these things, we talk about the environment, and surely we see how good electric vehicles can be for the environment, i.e., the practicality, the speed of it, the smoothness of these cars, and also how quiet they are. These are all very positive things. But the more challenging issues that we have is the practicality of these electric vehicles, i.e., having them, charging them, staying on the road. If you run out of power, what does it mean? So this is the reason why I am making this video today, to share some of the experiences that I've had and a bit of the research that I've also done into these things. So as you can see here, both these images looks very nice, very posh. And so how does the ordinary guy on the street relate to these matters? So welcome to the channel once again. Continuing on from the previous video, we are making this video once again to understand how the EV vehicle charging system works. We are going to be looking at an article that has been written in the Independent as of the 5th of December 2024, to find out what we can learn from what is written and share some of our own practical experiences as I read through this article. The whole idea of making this video is to encourage everyone or anyone that have these electric vehicles to share their thoughts, share the challenges that they've had, and to find out how these things are going to be working for all of us in the future. So thank you once again for spending time watching this channel. Remember to share the contents, obviously, to encourage more people to get on board and talk about this electric vehicle upgrading in the nation. This video is also important for policymakers to also sort of rethink on the practical side of how these changes are happening and how practical they could be. My suggestion have always been that the roof of these electric vehicles, for example, the Nissan Ariya, is all very glass based, and a solar panel could be installed in there to give that car, this vehicle, that minimum charge, so that they never really run out of battery to the extent that they grind to a halt. But rather, if they even kick into the solar panel, it could be designed in such a way that then it only gives a maximum speed of about 20 miles an hour. This then allows the whoever is driving these vehicles to basically look for a point to charge their vehicle. Great. So let's delve into this. What does the Mayor of London say here? Mayor of London has several policies to support the use of electric vehicles, EVs, for the private hire vehicles, PHV, including congestion charge discount. Pure electric vehicles qualify for 100% discount on the congestion charge until December 25th, 2025, which is just about a year from now. After that, the discount will end and the £10 charge will apply. Zero emissions capable vehicles. All new PHV license in 2023 must be zero emission compatible. Charging infrastructure. London has over 11,000 places to charge an EV, including 820 fast charge or ultra rapid charging points. ULEZ emission standards. PHVs, being private hire vehicles, must meet ULEZ emission standards or pay a £12.50 daily charge when traveling in the ULEZ or ultra low emission zone area. Net zero city. So obviously the target by the Mayor of London is to make London a net zero city. The Mayor has pledged to make London a net zero carbon city by 2030. So these are very interesting and ambitious plans, and obviously those that are living in inner London must be very happy about this. Obviously it creates a cleaner air quality for the residents and for the workers and for the inhabitants of people in central London. Other benefits of EV include fuel cost saving, reduce harmful vehicle emissions, vehicle tax benefits, free or reduced charge parking in some London boroughs. So all these once again sounds pretty good. That is saying that it saves you on fuel. In reality, if you have a vehicle, an electric vehicle, and you put it on a supercharging shell, to charge from about 10 to say 90%, you may end up spending about 60 to 65 pounds to get these vehicles to charge. Then also you have the problem of having to wait at the filling station for sometimes between 45 minutes and 1.5 hours just to charge your vehicles. So some of these statements that are made as in fuel cost savings, it only really works if you have a drive in your house whereby you can have a separate electric point set up specifically for your vehicle. And so you tend to find that those who have or those who are wealthy are the ones that benefit most from having these electric vehicles. The ordinary guy who doesn't have a drive in his house may have to go to these supercharged places where they charge them huge sums of money just to charge their vehicles. And also there is this vast variation between the price. And so if I should charge my vehicle for say 60 kilowatts, I may be paying something like £55 in Shell. I may be paying £49 in BP Pulse. I may be paying about £30 by the council card charging points in the ground, and I may be paying something like between £5 and £7 at home for overnight if I have a drive. And so this is where the problem is. Inequalities kicks in, and you ask yourself, does government regulate this market? Do they have plans to make prices more even? So this is where we critics and human rights advocates comes in to talk about these issues, to serve as checks and balances to the governance or to government, to really government and policy making, to really look into these things, to obviously unify the situation, and obviously looking at the details of these ambitious statements and how practical they can be to the ordinary guy. Right. Even when we talk about things like obviously congestion charge, as you can see here, even though it goes on to tell you that you are basically saving some, you're saving money through vehicle tax and the lot, but you are going to be paying your congestion charge. So without further ado, I'm just going to go into the article, and then we go through this article in the Independent to find out what there is and to see how practical it is for anyone to get themselves involved in having an electric vehicle. So this article here is written in the Independent paper. So it says electric car chargers and charging your EV on the road. All you need to know. Your complete guide to everything you need to know about charging your electric car. This article is written by Alistair Charlton and is written on the Thursday, 5th December 2024. Okay, so we're gonna get into it to see what this young man has actually written concerning electric vehicles. Then as we go through this, I will also put in my practical input and my own experience and some of the research that I've carried out whilst being on the road and talking to people that have electric vehicles. There are many factors that determine how quickly EV will charge. Here are everything you need to know. Okay, so we start here by saying there is much to electric car ownership than simply driving it. Charging it is a key factor that needs to be understood before making your purchase. This is because some EV charge more quickly than others. Some chargers are more expensive than others. And it is important to understand how factors like temperature and battery status can affect how quickly an EV recharges. To help you understand more about electric car charging, we have outlined the basics with a Q&A section below. This is aimed at the UK market, but the information given here can be applied to electric cars and chargers in other countries too. And so you see here, the challenges is not just owning these vehicles. You're going to be charging it. Some charges are quicker, some charges are slower. And then also the variation in the prices of charging your electric vehicle. And so many a times and even just getting used to these electric vehicles can all be challenges that you need to be looking out for. But at this moment, one of the vehicles that really is a great one is the Nissan Ariya. This car or this vehicle is awesome. Great to drive, fantastic maneuverability. The E-Force, the Ariya E-Force, with the 87 kilowatt battery capacity is just smooth. The interior, as you can see here, it says transformation on the horizon. Ariya is a stunning expression of Nissan's vision. A single horizon line replaces fuzzy contours. The thin LED headlamps shines at night, then disappears during the day. Inside, a flat floor adds a spacious lounge look feeling that welcomes all. So this car indeed is a great car. Interior looks awesome. This one has got it's got a pan roof, so it's just a beautiful car. And kudos to Nissan for obviously bringing in this car. So as you can see here, you get the prices. The Engage, you're spending about £39,645. The Advance, £43,145. Then the top one, the Evolve, which is the E-Force, £47,140. So it's great, and that is a copper black. That is a fantastic color to have. It gives you that sort of Range Rover Lamborghini feel. So Nissan, they've done pretty good on this car. And so we go back to the article. Then you see, I mean, this is another car. I'm sure it's probably like a Porsche. And so this gets a little bit on the high end, and I'm sure can get extremely pricey. So what do we have here? We continue on the article. It is important to understand the basics when it comes to EV charging. That way, you will be better informed when buying your first electric car and not overwhelmed by the unfamiliar statistics like charge rates, system voltage, and battery efficiency. So these are very key issues that needs to be considered. The charge rate, so how much you're paying, understanding the charge rate. So if it's, say, for example, 87 pence per kilowatt hour, and let's say something that will charge for, say, 7 pence per kilowatt hour, then all that you do is that once you charge the car, and then it will tell you how much kilowatt is charged by. It could say, let's say, 60 kilowatts. Then you multiply it by 0.87. That gives you the price, or 0.89 or 0.7. Obviously, that gives you up. I think it's times 0.07 for the 7 pence. But obviously, if it's 87 pence, 0.87, and then that gives you the price of how much you're charging by. Then you're looking at the system voltage. So you have both the voltage in your vehicle and also the voltage by the machine, to see how they both interface. So the higher the voltage, the quicker the vehicle will charge. So you tend to find the higher voltage machines in places like Shell, where they could have something like 175 kilowatt hour charge system. Sometimes too is 150. But you come to places like the normal homes is charging at about 7 kilowatt hour. On the street for the councils, 22 kilowatt hour. These are the slow charge ones. And then, you can have places like BP Pulse where it's charging at about maybe 50 kilowatts, or sometimes 130. So there's such a huge variation, and this thing really do need to be looked into. So in the article, the next issue here to talk about is, do all electric cars charge at the same speed? So the answer is a no. There can be a huge difference between the charge speed of two electric cars. Charge speed is usually measured in kilowatts, or kW. The fastest charging EVs can fill their battery at a rate of about 300 kilowatts, while slower charging cars fill at about 75 kilowatts. So you see once again a variation. Many modern EVs have a maximum charge rate somewhere between 100 and 250 kilowatts, but they can only be achieved. They can only achieve that rate when plugged into a suitable power charger. So-called ultra-rapid public charger often advertise their maximum charge rate, with a 150 kilowatts and 175 kilowatts being amongst the more common high-speed options. So you tend to find these ones in places like Shell. Okay, so some public chargers operate at up to 350 kilowatts. So these are the high-end cars, like the vehicles, like the Porsches, like the Citroen, the Audi e-trons, and all these, these, top of the range Mercedes vehicles. Okay, while home chargers, which are usually called wall box chargers and use AC electric instead of DC, typically operate between 3 kilowatts and 7 kilowatts, making them better suited to an overnight fill instead of a quick top up. So if you want to do a quick top up, as you know, that you may not be able to do that at home because of the AC because of the AC charge, which is between 3 and 7 kilowatts. But whereas if you're outside, let's say a Tesla Supercharge could go as high as 350 kilowatts, and therefore will charge your vehicle Very quick, but once again, you will pay through your nose. Which electric car charges quicker? Okay. So, as of late 2024, the fastest charging EVs for sale in the UK is the Lotus Eleta, which can fill its battery up to 350 kilowatts. Conveniently, that's also the same rate as the most powerful public charger. Second place belongs to the closely related Audi e-tron GT and Porsche Taycan at about 320 kilowatts, followed by the Audi e-tron Q6 at 270 kilowatts. With such high charge rates, these cars can fill their batteries from 10 to 80% in under 20 minutes when using an equally powerful charger. So here you see we hit inequalities again. So you tend to realize that all the time, the guy at the bottom end of society always gets the stick. So you can see here the people that can afford to buy these top of the range cars are spending much less time in places to charge their vehicles, whilst those who cannot afford these cars will spend a much longer period of time charging their vehicles. So, why can't this thing be uniform? Why can't people just, why can't all these cars have the same level of or similar level of charging speed? And so these are some of the things that you have to be aware of. So EVs with lower maximum charge rates charge more slowly, but these tend to have similar batteries than the Porsches, Audis, and Lotus mentioned above. What are rapid car charges? What are rapid car charges and how do they differ from normal EV charges? Generally speaking, slow chargers operate at 3.6 kilowatts, while fast chargers tend to run at 7 kilowatts, 11 kilowatts, or 22 kilowatts. These are all AC, alternating current charges, like those found at home or at a destination like hotel where electric cars are expected to be parked for some time. So these are the slow charges. Rapid chargers are DC, direct current. And so operate. So this gives you the interpretation. It kind of teaches you the differences in how the power is basically coming into the vehicle. So you can see the ACs, which is alternating current. So these currents are not coming in probably direct. So this is why they are called AC. And then you see that here it talks about the DC, which is the direct current, and operate at a 50 kilowatts. So the 50 kilowatts on the fast charge seems to be the lowest. Then it goes up and up and up. Whilst ultra rapid charges span all the way from 50 to 350 kilowatts. From a user's point of view, all EV chargers work in broadly the same way, in that they plug into the car charging point and deliver electricity. Rapid and ultra rapid chargers in the UK and Europe use a technology called CCS, which has a slightly different charger connection to less powerful chargers. But all you have to do is open the little flap that covers the lower half of your car's charging point, and the CC charger will attach, then lock into place during the charge process. So as you can see there, how the technology really works when you're charging your electric vehicle. Some of the challenges that I have had is where I went to a Tesla. I basically downloaded the Tesla app. I got charged $8.99 subscription fee per month. But then when I went to the South Mims charging center, which is in the Welcome Place by the M25 Junction 23, to charge my vehicle, the Tesla charging unit locked into my car, and it was not charging, but it will not disengage either. Whilst when I put in a call through to the Tesla office to help to get them to disengage. Well, they asked me to do, turn off your key, turn on your key, lock, unlock. We did everything. This cable will not disengage. Eventually, the person at the other end told me that they are not able to help me any further. I was then left with my vehicle with this cable stuck in my vehicle. I was then told that I should go and read my manual to find a way to disengage my vehicle or to disengage this cable from my vehicle. So I was left on my own. I was able to resolve the problem through my own, fiddling around. But this should not be the case. And so these are some of the challenges that people that are new people to these new electric vehicles may experience. Okay. But this article is really great in the sense that it breaks everything down and it gives some perspective on understanding how these things work. It is also worth noting that faster charges tend to cost more, and this is especially true for ultra rapid charges in convenient locations like motorway or service station. Indeed, this is true. So, once again, you are in a place where you're using the rapid charge or fast charge, you say 60 kilowatts of charge, maybe moving you from say 10% to about 95% could cost you nearly 60 quid. But you do the same thing maybe by the roadside with an overnight where you're waiting a lot longer, you're spending maybe about 30 quid. But if you do it at your home with a much slower charge, which goes on for about 12 hours, you're paying maybe about between 5 and 7 quid. And so you tend to realize that it works better for the rich, but the poor pays more. What is the fastest way to charge an electric car? To get the quickest possible charge speed for EV, you need to plug it into an equally powerful charger. For example, if your car can charge at 200 kilowatts, you will need to find a charger at least that powerful, such as one capable of a 350 kilowatts. Charge speed can depend on how fully the battery already is and is also in its temperature. Sometimes how busy the charger is can also have an effect, with slower charge speed expected when more EVs are plugged into the same station. So as you can see there, the more vehicles there are charging, the slower your charge will be. Then the other thing that I've also discovered, which is also relevant to talk about here, is also the fact that if you, for example, go to a BP Pulse machine and you are charging, and your charging exceeds 1.5 hours, you will be hit with an additional charge of £10. This is just from the machine. It's not the location where you are, because if you are using this somewhere in a hotel or some place like that, you may have to register your vehicle with them so that you don't get a penalty charge for using their obviously their compound to charge your vehicle. But at the same time, the machine itself will also charge you £10 if you exceed 90 minutes charging. So all these, new electric vehicle owners must be aware of these things. It is also worth remembering that most EVs only reach their maximum charge rate briefly. Since as battery fills up, they charge more slowly. To get the highest speed possible, use a suitable powerful charger when your battery is both warm or it has been pre-conditioned and below 20%. Okay, so it tells you about, obviously, when you're charging, better that your battery goes below 20% so that you charge is a better condition, and also that your vehicle, obviously the battery needs to be a bit warmer to make it work. It works better in the summertime. In winter it struggles a bit. So all these you must be aware of. Remember to share your own, obviously, experience as you obviously listen to this video, share your experience so other people will also learn. So you can see here, we have here a Tesla charging point. This is the one where I use and it got locked into my vehicle. And it took me a while to be able to disengage it. Eventually, I noticed that there was a button under my steering wheel where you could almost press to sort of disengage any charging cable in your vehicle. Will my electric car always charge at the same speed? No, unfortunately not. There are quite a few factors that determine the charge speed of any electric car. The first factors are obvious, as these are the maximum charge rate of both the car and the charger you are using. If you plug a 320 kilowatt car into a 150 kilowatt charger, then you will get no more than 150 kilowatts. Similarly, a 150 kilowatt car plugged into a 350 kilowatt charger won't get any more than 150 kilowatts. So this is also not a bad thing, because what it does is that it kind of self-regulates. It self-regulates. So once you plug it in, it determines, and it will not let you sort of charge any faster or higher than what your vehicle does have. Okay. Also, affecting charge speed is how empty battery charges more empty batteries charges more quickly than full ones. So basically, what does it say here? Also, affecting charge speed is how empty batteries charge more quickly than full ones, and this is especially obvious when filling beyond 80%. When the charge speed slows significantly, it is therefore best to use your rapid charging stop when your EV battery is fairly empty, instead of seeking out a charger near the start of your journey. Bringing the battery to 100% before you set off is a good idea if you are charging at home and have plenty of time, but otherwise you are best filling up later. So this talks about how how low and high your battery may be. When the batteries charge up to 80%, the last 20%, the charging becomes a lot slower. And so it is best for you to go to charge your vehicle when your battery is sort of fairly low, say about 15%. To getting it up to 80% is a lot quicker. But then when you get to 80, getting to 100 becomes slower. But the average charging time for the supercharge is between 45 minutes and 1.5 hours. And then obviously those by the roadside could be, charging at 22 kilowatts, could take you about 3.5 hours. But then the lower, much lower ones by the electric poles or by the ones in the home, the ACs, will do you something like 8 to 12 hours to get a full charge. Temperature also affects EV charge speed, so much so that many EVs will warm their battery as you approach a charge station, providing you are using the car's own navigation system to get there. Do electric cars charge more slowly in winter? Yes, they do. Like all products that use lithium batteries, like your phone, camera, and laptops, electric cars perform less well when cold. As mentioned above, many EV precondition their batteries, which involves warming it up, so it fills more quickly when you arrive at the charge station. It's also possible to precondition an EV whilst it's plugged in, so that it's nice and warm when you set off. Good for you, since the cabin will be warm, and good for the car, as it will run more efficiently and therefore go further when its battery is in the right temperature. Then we go next. Should I stop charging my EV at 80%? It is good practice to only fast charge. It is good practice to only fast charge or rapid charge up to 80%. There are two reasons for this. Firstly, electric car batteries tend to charge more quickly, slowly beyond 80%. And secondly, lithium batteries tend to have a longer life if they are charged up to 100% less frequently, especially at high speed. So this tells you that it's basically recommended that you don't tend to charge your vehicle on supercharge more than 80% because the charging gets slower, but also for a longer life battery, it is best that it's not mostly charged to 100%. But obviously, if you're doing the slow charge at home, then 100% is okay. Most EVs can be set to stop charging at a certain percentage. It is worth setting this to 80% in a bid to protect the lifespan of your battery. But occasionally, charging to 100%, especially with a low power home charge, is fine. So this just confirms what was said before. How much does it cost to charge an electric car? So this obviously this article really delves into this thing and really breaks everything down. So I'm very sure that once we get to the end of this video, it will place us in a position whereby whoever watches this video will be very much equipped with the information or the information that they need to basically process purchase their electric vehicle. How much does it cost to charge an electric car? The cost of charging an electric vehicle can vary considerably. Charge the battery at home using a low-cost tariff like E.ON Next Drive, and a complete fill can cost just £5 or even less for a smaller battery. The current Next Drive rate as of November 2024 is basically 66.7 pence per kilowatt hour. Short for kilowatt hour, kWh is the unit of measurement for car batteries and is an indication of how much energy they can store. A small electric car like the Mini Cooper E has a 36.6 kilowatt hour battery, while a mid car like the Polestar 2 has a battery size option of 61 kilowatt hour and 82 kilowatt hour, and a large EV like the Porsche Macan has 100 kilowatt hour battery capacity. And obviously my favorite, which is the Nissan Ariya, as you can see here, the top of the range, the E-Force, which is the one in the copper black on the right, that will do you a battery capacity of 87 kilowatt. It gives an 87 kilowatt hour battery. Public chargers are much more expensive, with prices usually increasing with speed and convenience. Some powerful 350 kilowatt chargers can cost around 0.79 basically 79 pence per kilowatt hour, while such slower public chargers like those attached to a lamppost and generally operating at 5 kilowatt hour cost around 59p per kilowatt hour. In some cases, these are cheaper to use at night, with some costs falling to 39 pence per kilowatt hour between midnight and 7 a.m. Right. I am going to check. I think at this stage, we will bring an end to this second part of this video. And so, yes, this is it. This is the second part of the video, which talks about the cost of the electric vehicle charging. Once again, a big variation Shareless 89 pence per kilowatt hour or 83 pence per kilowatt hour. BP Pulse is 77 pence per kilowatt hour or 63 pence per kilowatt hour, depending if you have a subscription. Teslas, I understand, probably something like about 43 pence per kilowatt hour. Once again, if you have a subscription. Then you have the points in the ground by the councils, 45 pence per kilowatt hour. Then obviously for the home charge, 7 pence, which is the much cheaper rate. And so you have this huge variation, and this is where we urge, policymakers, we urge government regulation to really come in to look into this market and how how this charging thing is working. It can be very daunting for the ordinary person, because even as I read through it, I understand it, but I don't think it's very common for people to really understand it. All the people who just do is that they just go charge it, and whatever price comes up, they probably bill it to the accounts. And so this is where we are. It seems that this video is going to get into part 3. So we will continue in the next video. It's a part 3. It's a continuation of this article. Once again, thank you for watching our channel. Share the video, add your opinion, add your experience, and let's learn about this change that is imminent. Thank you for watching.